Hi guys, can y'all hear me today? Hopefully I changed my microphone to the correct microphone. Let's double check that. Yep, on my end it's working. So I hope everyone is doing this well today. Say hi, say where you're from. You'll notice that the studio has a little bit different of a look today because the heat press got in the middle of the room instead of in its spot behind where it's normally tucked in. So good to see everybody. If you didn't get a chance and you were interested in sublimation, you might want to go check out Brother So's live that we did earlier today. We made cuffs and we made socks and had kind of lots of fun. So we have some UK in the house. We have some Northwest Indiana. We have some Southern California. We've got Florida and we've got Arizona in the house so far. So good to see you guys today. And we have, let's see here, where did it go? We've got UK. And Judy is back from surprise, Arizona, and Fort Lauderdale, hot, sunny Texas. Now it's not hot yet, but it's been very sunny here, today is a beautiful day outside. Unfortunately, I have been inside all day long. So North Carolina's in the house, Youngstown, New York's in the house, Washington's here, Virginia's here, Norway's here, British Columbia, Canada, all kinds of places. So I'm glad you enjoyed the boot cuff and the socks. Like I said, in Tennessee, there's not a whole lot of stuff that you can find this time of year because we're thinking spring already that relates to winter time. So that was and they were actually quite fun to make. The lace was really cool. I have to give Stephanie credit for that one because she's the one that gave me that little trick, and it was a cool little trick on how to basically you sublimate two surfaces at once, but it imprints on the bottom. So if you didn't see that earlier today, let's see here. I think it's still on my desk. Yes. So these were the boot cuffs that we made, but the print itself normally comes out like this. Okay, so this is on a piece of fleece, polyester fleece. You do have to sublimate on polyester. It doesn't work well on any substance that doesn't have polyester in it. The more polyester content on it, the better it's going to sublimate. But you can see this is my lace. So it actually sublimates the lace too if it's polyester lace. If it's just a regular lace and it's not polyester, then it will not sublimate the top, but it will still go through. So if you want two pieces of fabric, you can go this route. If you only need the one, whatever kind of lace you can find. So inexpensive lace. All right, guys. Today we are going to talk first about removing overlaps in Canvas Workspace. So somebody had an SVG file, and I don't have their exact file, so I've kind of recreated what I think they were trying to do to share that with you. Let me see if I can present my screen here. Share screen, entire, number 2. Okay, so let me come over here and pull this over. And we'll go to all screen only. And thanks, Anne, for telling people don't forget to hit like and share. And I'll show my socks here in a minute. Okay, so this is Canvas Workspace, and they were bringing in an SVG file. So I'm going to bring mine in 2 parts because I made a body and a bone. And I'm guessing you were trying to make a tag, Linda. I believe it was Linda that asked this question. So I'm going to make that one bigger, and then let me see here. Oval, where's my oval? I know I called it an oval. Well, I don't know what I did with it. So here, let's do this. Let's filter by SVG. Nope. Well, I know I called it an oval, but it is not showing up in where it should be. And I know I didn't delete it. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to sort by type. SVG. Long oval. Okay, so I knew it had an oval in it. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. The first thing is whatever you want to be removed needs to be on the bottom. And if we look in our layers window, the first thing that I see is the oval. That means it's going to be on the top. So I would move it to the back, or you could have right mouse clicked and said arrange, send to back. Okay. So whatever you want to be removed needs to be on the back. It doesn't have to be filled, doesn't matter. So if I turn off my fill here for this one, just so you kind of get an idea, we have definitely two overlapping lines. So if I select them both just by dragging around the whole kit and caboodle here, and I go into my edit menu, I should then be able to remove overlaps. And there you go. Split at point is not really going to work. And the reason I say that is because if I double tap this and I split it at this point, actually, we got to open it right here. Sometimes it'll open up at that spot, sometimes it won't. But if you're wanting it to cut both parts, then you don't really want that gone. So your remove overlaps is your best option. Now, let's see. Let me undo and get back to where this is. And we'll try split at point on this guy again and see what happens if we try to remove our overlaps if we've split it at point. So I'm going to hide my control points and we'll just split this one right here. Open that up and that should be open now. All right. So let's see if we try to remove those overlaps, what happens. It will not let you do it because it's been opened. Okay. So, oh, if you were doing an embroidery, then I know exactly what I thought you were doing it in Canvas Workspace, but I know exactly what you were doing wrong in PE Design. They must be filled. Okay. So let me pull in those SVGs. We'll import from vector and let me find it. Here's my oval. Come on, like me. And here's my bone. Let's make this one a little bit longer. So there are two things that can cause this not to work. Let's make this one a little bit bigger. But the first is, if it's not filled, it will not work because it does not see any overlap. So if I come in here, modify overlap, it will not work. You must have a fill stitch on it. So I'm going to select that one, go to my shapes, turn on a fill stitch. Now, boy, that looks awful. Modify overlap, remove overlap, and now it is removed. So that's the first reason that it might not work. Okay, so I'm modifying my shape because that looks terrible. Let's just make it a rectangle. All right. Now, the other thing that might happen, yes, that was not pretty. Just like I was talking to Yvonne last week, I believe it was Yvonne, that was having problems with her set hole sewing not working. If you happen to have any kind of a kink in it, even though it still shows a fill stitch and it might look like it's straight aligned, let me see if I can get this where I want it to go. Nobody tell anybody I'm doing pornographic images here on live. That was terrible. All right, we'll select it. And then we'll go to modify overlap. And no, I don't want to set hole sewing. I want to remove overlaps. We'll remove our overlap. And it did it. So it had to be that you were not filled in is the deal. So y'all really needed a giggle. That was bad. That was bad on so many levels. Yes. Oh gosh. I needed a good laugh today. That one, that one's really gave it to us. Okay. Oh my goodness. What was the next question? It's Sandra and motifs. Let's see if I can do that one without being obscene. Okay. So it has to be that you were not filled in. That's really the only reason remove overlaps won't work. Okay. If you wanted to, however, split at point instead, so let me get a rectangle back in here. Actually, let's just undo because all I did was delete. We'll undo and undo a few more times here. Okay. So if you wanted to split it at point, you could certainly do that. I'm basically back to my basic shapes. I'm going to go to my select tool, my select point tool, put a click where I want to split it, right mouse click on it, split at point, go to then you can come over to the opposite side. I personally would just go to the opposite side, left click on it, right mouse click, split at point. Now you have a separated line. And if you go into your sewing sequence, there's the line that we separated. Select it, move your cursor into the window and press delete. The deal is that one will not fill in. Okay, so the other way, if you remove the overlaps, you'll have a fill in both areas. If you don't care one way or the other, that's how to do it. So, yeah, Linda, she wanted to know how her remove overlaps was not working in PE Design 11. So, anyhow, that's how you would do that. Now, let's go on to different fills that can be used with different motifs that can be used and different fills that you can use them with. So this is Sandra's question. And let's just go with a basic circle. So technically, if you want to use a motif with a fill, basically a piping stitch and a motif stitch are your two options. Okay, those are the ones that allow you to come over here into your sewing attributes, decrease this. For a piping stitch, you can decrease your density and you can use a motif stitch along them. So depending on what your density you selected will depend on what comes. So if I wanted to put my sunglasses motifs on there, I could do that. And there's my sunglasses. I could then come in and I can't play with my density. I can play with the size of my motif at this point, and I can change the offset of them and the spacing of them. So if I want my vertical spacing to be less, I can reduce that spacing, and you can see how my motifs are getting closer together, and that's how you make them go differently on the actual shape. If I instead selected a motif stitch as the fill, it would just do the motifs. So with that, once again, you come in and you can change your vertical spacing and it will change how far apart they're spaced. And as you see them coming together, so if I wanted mine real close, you can see them coming together down at the bottom. If I did the vertical spacing that way, I would probably change I would change my vertical offset as well to see if I couldn't fill in the top. And I'm basically just shifting them up. And you can see them move as I go. And this is vertical offset. And they're going to go all the way to the top there on that circle. Now that looks about right. We don't have a gap. Okay. So there's that one. Now, if I wanted to do something else, I can. So just kind of giving you all this idea in your heads. Let's say I needed a concentric circle. Well, if I want a concentric circle, that works, but I need my density way, way down because you want to have enough space for a motif in there. So there we go. I've got a concentric circle. The trick to this is I'm going to turn off my outline just so you can see what's happening. I'm going to convert that line to region. And what that does is it turns it in, convert region to line. That turns it into an outline. Once it's an outline, any of my outline stitches can be placed on it, including a motif stitch. So if I then wanted bees going in that circle, or flowers, or a palm tree, or a carrot, or a bunny, let's say we want to go with this bee though. I can put my bee in there, and then I could come in and change the size of it. So I'm going to maintain my aspect ratio and change that size to about 15 millimeters. And let's see what we get. So then you've got little bees going around in a circle. Another way you could use that, same technique. So basically any of the fills, and it just depends on what you're looking for. I'm going to come in, and this time I'm going to say spiral stitch instead of the concentric circle. And once again, I'm going to reduce that density as low as I can go on this one. Now let's turn off my outline. Oops. And I'm going to convert to region, convert region to line. So now motif stitch, and there you go. It kept the size of what I did. Now the difference between this one and the concentric circle is you're not going to have a line going down it. This is truly going to go in a concentric circle. So it will start one direction and go the total all the way around. So let's watch this one stitch. So you can see how it's going to stitch. Now, if I want my bees to go the opposite direction, let's see if I can make that happen. Yes. So if I want them to go the opposite direction, I can switch, and now my bees should be going that direction, and they are. If I want them to go every other one facing each other, I can have every other one facing each other. You want them up and down, you can have them up and down. So you could have like a swarm going on here. Another fill that you could do that with, let's think about this. You could do your flexible spiral, which gives you way more control. So this one I can space even further out. We may like this one the best. Oh, wait, went wrong way. I want to increase the spacing. So, oh yeah, I like this one. So I can go up to 10 millimeters in spacing on this one. Now, if I convert that region to line, I can then pick that motif. And this one we may like better because you can actually see those as it, okay? Let's back up multiple places here and let's see if there's any others that we could play with and make happen. The stippling stitch is one that you can definitely have a motif along. You just put the check mark. You don't have to do anything special with it. You just put a check mark and it will do the motif along the stippling. So for that one, I'm going to do my carrot here. For that one, you would definitely change your spacing of the stippling. And I changed the size of my carrot. So I'm going to come and then increase my spacing of my stippling. And you can increase the space between the carrots as well. So if you don't want as many carrots in one place, you can increase that spacing, and then you'll just get one tossed here and there. The net fill we might be able to play with. Let's see what happens with that one. Let's increase the spacing of it as far as we can make it go. This one will be interesting. And then let's convert that region to line and see what happens. Ooh, that's different. Let's see what happens if we put sunglasses on that one. Not real pretty. I don't think I would use that one, but let's see what happens. Different, but not necessarily what I would be looking for. So I think your best options are the ones that I showed. So I would say the piping stitch. Let's get out of here. I'm backing up to where we were. So your best options are your piping stitch, the motif stitch itself, a concentric circle, but I really do like the flexible spiral the best as far as those go, and your stippling stitch. The others are not going to give you a real great look. Now, if you want just a basic fill, you could, let's decrease our density as low as we can go. And let's turn off our undersewing. And let's have that stitch go to an edge run. Now, let me see here. If I change my entry and exit, can I get rid of that line? I certainly can. So now I've gotten rid of my little line that was going there. All right, let's select this. And convert region to line again. And now let's see what we get. There you go. That one works pretty well. And you could also draw your own, okay? If the shape was a star, it would do basically the same thing. So if I came in here and did a star, depends on what stitch you pick. So if I did what I just did, and let's change that to a not sewn. And let's see if we can move that entry exit to where it doesn't give us that little line. Entry, exit. Okay, now let's see. I'm not going to be able to avoid all of them, but that gives you an idea. And let's pick the motif stitch again. That looks very interesting. Doesn't quite look like a star any longer. Let's see what it looks like with a flower. Now you can always increase your spacing on these as well. So if you want them spaced further apart, you could always do that. But it's going to give you, it looks like it's doing a double line in some places. So that would not necessarily be my first choice. So let's see here. Let's pick that star again, and let's see what we get when we play with others. Let's do a flexible spiral. That one should work great. We've got our spacing all the way up. Let's convert region to line, and let's find us a motif. So yeah, now I've moved my spacing along it. So if you want your spacing back to the defaults, move them back to the defaults, and then they're closer together. But that gives you some options. Concentric circle would probably be a bit busy for this one. I like it better spaced out. Oh, and let's go with one direction. There we go. Let me delete that. And let's see what else we get. Let's see what a spiral does. Let's just do concentric circle. Okay. Now, turn off our motif off the outside. So you don't have to just do motifs. I like this. I like the spiral stitch better than the concentric circle because you're going to get the doubles on these, and there's just no way around that. So it really depends on the shape. Have fun, play, enjoy. Okay, let me come over and answer some questions. Yes, Gemma, I've done some lives on how to create your own motifs in PE Design 11. It actually goes back. I mean, the creating them will work the same way, regardless of whether you're in, I believe, we got motifs in version 4. So the same steps it works the same way from version 4 up to version 11. When it comes to creating your own motifs. But yes, you can certainly do that. And I'd have to go look and see what episodes I did that on. I believe it was sometime in April, is my last April, I believe. Yeah, it's much better. It's easier to see them when they're spaced further apart. Let me see here. I'm coming back up. So yeah, there you go. Applique and underlay. Give me a minute on that one. Okay. I was not a digitizer for a company. I've done digitizing for people, but I've never done it for a specific company. This software intrigued me, and I had my own business. I sold shirts. This was my side hustle when I was teaching school. So I wanted to be able to do more. I bought the first version of the PE Design software, and I've taught myself how to use it. And things have just gone on from there. So, I actually think PE Design is Simply Applique is easy, but you can't do the intricacies with it. So, it's really super simple to do it in PE Design. You import and then you say convert to applique. It's not hard. So I would say, and I've done a lot. I've done a lot on. I did a lot of that initially during COVID on the appliques. There's one of a bunny that I did from the whole caboodle, I believe. And I did that one in BES, I did it in PE Design, and I did it in Simply Applique. The hardest one to do it in was Simply Applique because of the remove overlaps feature. That one is just not quite, and it's not quite as advanced. You can't do quite as many things. Let's see here. I like to have bigger loops as well. Just it makes it a lot easier. Oh, that would be fun. I was thinking of doing it for what's the next holiday that we have? March, St. Patty's Day. I was thinking a bunch of clovers would be kind of fun to do with that. Yes, I did that. Okay, who wants to pipe in and tell me when I did the snowflake names? I did those about 3 weeks ago. I can show that real quick. How to design a mama sweatshirt applique everyone is raving about. Well, I'd have to see a picture of it, but I can show you how to do a mama applique pretty easily here. Let's pick a hoop. I'm assuming it's a big applique, so let's pick us a big hoop. Let's go 10 5/8 by 10 5/8. That'll be pretty good size. I must have had cap locks on. All right, we do not want my running stitch font. We want, I have no idea what font they're using. Have no clue. You've got me off the loop on that one. I haven't seen this one pictured. But let's say we wanted this mama turned into an applique. Now, the first thing I would do is space my letters further apart because an applique needs room to have space. So that is your kerning. Increase your kerning. That's the space between the letters. You could also do character spacing, but kerning works for everything. So I usually just do kerning. Now we're going to go, let me make it a little bit smaller. Go to your home tab and hit the applique wizard. Choose the width you want your zigzag stitch to be. I would not make it any smaller than 2.5. I'm going to go with 5. And if your letters have holes in them, like an A, you want to create an applique with hole sewing. You want to replace it, not add it, and click OK. And there you have an applique. Now, if you want to give me a picture of something later, I can help you a little bit more than that, but that is the down low on how to create an applique here in P Design. That is super easy. Snowflake name, I'll do one real quick. And we're going to go back to the default setting, and then let's make us a pretty font here. Okay. You're going to go to your home tab. You're going to do arrange copy and circle copy. Depending on how big you make your circle will depend on how this works. So as you can see, there you go. Left click, and you have a snowflake name. You can get a little bit more advanced than that if you want. You can come and select it. You can do arrange copy, circle copy, and over here you can tell it how many you want instead. So if you wanted 7 repeats, you could put 7 in there and then do your circle. Let go and align them the direction you want them to go, and then left click. And there you go. You have a snowflake name. So that is a super simple, easy project to do. Let me go back over here. Sheila, did I get close to what you were looking for? Yep, P Design and appliques work great. And yes, I do have a 3-inch instruction manual. It's over 1,000 pages of teaching you how to do. Easter eggs would be fun as well. Oh, that was the font? Well, there you go. So you've learned how to do that real quick. Let's see here. New comments. All right, guys. So I do have a topic. We are no longer shut-ins. We visited this topic last year and never came up with anything fun and snappy. We're no longer shut in. I mean, back in COVID, that's when I started this, and I've just never changed the name because nothing has caught my fancy. And I don't know that any of these catch my fancy, but I'll sit here and tell you that I went and did ChatGPT to see if we could come up with any fun names. So I want something that has 3 letters that we can do an acronym with, so that instead of me having to type the whole thing out, we have just a name to go with it. So here are some. I'm not saying I like any of them, but this is a starting spot. So let's look and see what we've got here, and see if any of these resonate with you all. So we have Zip Live, and I'm not real crazy about that one, but zeroing in on embroidery. Zip Live. Embroidery software simplified. That's a possibility because that one actually makes sense. Snip and Stitch. S&S. That sounds like, I don't know that I like that one. Sip, Inspire, Perfect. That one's okay. So y'all look at them, start reading, and see if there any of these float your boat. I will put these in the chat as well. But this is a starting spot, and I'm open to anything that you all have to say. Yeah, okay, then I don't want to do what Joanne has. I don't want to do a Sip and Stitch if Joanne has Sip and Stitch. So Stitchcraft Live, I mean, that's okay. Stitch Text STS. Now that sounds like too much like a disease. So I mean, these are ideas. And if anybody, you like ESS, Embroidery Software Live, Embroidery Software Simplified. We'll put that one, give that one a bold or a yellow. We'll give it a yellow color. Anybody have any others that they like? You like Cynthia Embroidery Live, CEL? I'll put that. So I got 2 for ESS. I got 1 for Cynthia's Embroidery Live. So think on it, because I'm struggling with this. This is, fun names are never my thing. I'm not a marketing genius, I will have to say. CEL. We're going to have sales. Yeah. So, I mean, those, I'll put those on the list here. Too many companies to name ESS. Well, okay, that makes sense. I like I said, I don't want to get in on somebody else's trademark. I don't want to get in on it, somebody else's thing, but we do need to change the name of this. Sorry. I mean, Angela's done behind the scenes. I don't want to do that because this is not behind the scenes. You all always see behind the scenes. It's what's behind me. And I mean, really, it's more like tech talk than it's been. And you know, I appreciate doing this. I mean, it really made me come out of my shell as far as this goes, because I always thought, well, you know, what do I do every day? I sit behind a computer. How exciting is that? Does the world really want to see me behind a computer? You'll notice I am not the best Instagrammer. I am not the best poster of everything. I tend to live life instead of filter it behind a camera. That's me, and that's just the way I am. I don't think anything's that memorable that everybody needs to know about it. But this has been one of those ways that I've been able to give back, I feel like, and enjoy and still continue teaching when we were not going anywhere to teach. So it has been a blessing, and it has made me learn much more technology than I ever thought about learning. Me and cameras are best friends these days, but I would not have done this 5 years ago. I guess we did start doing some lives 5 years ago. Angela and I did. But you know, I agree, Linda. It has been fun. It has been very memorable, and it will continue. I just think we need it's time for a new name. So oh, you know, I kind of like that one. Software Made Simple. Cynthia's Afternoon Chat. Okay, so let me add those to the list. We'll put us a poll, and I'll put it in the Education Connection, and you guys can pick on from there. So Cynthia's Afternoon Chat. Software Made Simple. Software with Cindy, and Cynthia's Embroidery World. I don't want to tie it just to embroidery, though, Sheila. I like that one, but we do so much more here. And sometimes it's not even software. Sometimes we're doing something elsewhere. So, but I do try to keep it mostly software related. Sometimes machines sneak in, but you know, hey. So, How about CSC, Cynthia's software chat, or Cindy's software chat? Cindy's software chat? Do you like Cindy or Cynthia's? Nice and simple. So far, that's a good one. Okay, Cindy's software chat. That we have a new name, I guess. Oh, you like Cynthia's better. Okay, so what do I go by? I go by Cindy. Okay, my business name, my business is Cynthia's, but I go by Cindy. The only time I'm called Cynthia is when I was when I was in trouble. My grandmother would pull, and I knew I was really in trouble if the middle name came out. If Lee got popped in there, if Cynthia Lee popped in there, you knew you were in trouble. If Cindy is, so Cindy was when I was in a good girl. But when I was naming my business, I had to name it in less than 2 hours. And I was like, okay, I have no, y'all heard me say I'm not a marketing genius. So that's how it got named, was Cynthia. So y'all like Cindy? All right. So I think we'll go CSC, Cynthia's software, Cindy's software chat. So we have a new name. Okay. So if y'all tune in next week, how about pick Cynthia's brain, PBC, PCB? That sounds a little bit like a drug. I don't know. Don't know that I want to go there. I've already done pornographic stuff today by accident. Oh gosh, y'all. Okay, so it looks like everybody likes CSC. I think that's what we're going for. Cindy's software chat. And if we can change it along the way if we like, but I wanted y'all's input because you guys are going to be the ones looking for it. So next, and we will start with episode 1 because we're going to start a new adventure. That way we know that this is where we started this one, and we can figure out what's in each one. So thanks, guys. It looks like everybody's in agreement on that one. All right, so we have a new name, Cindy's software chat. And once again, we're real creative. Go with what works, right? Okay, but that way we can just put CSC and things and I don't have to spell the whole thing out. So thanks, Linda. I have just been, today, evidently I'm firing on all cylinders. I have no idea why. It has been one of those days. So socks that we did this morning on, where was I this morning? Brother So's live. So we did sublimation socks. And if you did, I'm not allowed to tell where I get things when I'm there. So if you have a 5 Below, that's where I bought these socks. They had 5 pairs for $5. And if you wanted ankle socks, they had 10 pairs for $5. I also saw children's ankle socks at Wally World for basically 50 cents a piece. So if I actually wear boys socks. I mean, my feet are small, and actually one's foot smaller than the other because I got run over by a lawnmower as a child. So I wear, usually on one foot, I wear a boy's medium, and on the other one, I wear a boy's large. So I usually buy 2 sets of socks and just mix and match. But they had the boys, and they usually fit. I mean, I have like a size 7 foot, so they fit both feet that way. And the boys' socks were about 50 cents a piece there. So boot scooting bride gifts. So yes. And if y'all didn't understand what this was, we were playing later on with it. You could have made it into a fingerless glove if you really wanted to. But here's my dirty boots, and they look huge, but they are really only a size 7. And what you do is you put it on your ankle, and then you put your foot in your boot, and then you tuck your boot and tuck it around your boot, and you have your boot cuffs. So you have pretty pretty little boots with sublimation. And we did, so, I mean, you can print it. I basically did the sublimation printing with lace over the top of it. So that was fun. Anyhow, now you have to go back and watch the whole video. You didn't see the first part. That was, Betty, that was this morning on Brother Sew's Live. So we did sublimation printing. Brother has a new sublimation printer, and it is really stinking cute. It's fun to play with. I was showing Angela what I told people this morning that I did gifts for Christmas. And one of those was a cell phone holder. I'll show you what the cell phone holder looked like. I can't show you the actual item because I gifted it. I gifted a lot of sublimation for Christmas just simply because it was fast, easy, and quick. It's kind of like I used to say, if you didn't appreciate embroidery, you got, oh, where's that going to? There. If you didn't get appreciate embroidery, you got heat transfer vinyl. Well, now you may get sublimation because it is fast and easy and quick. Totally. Oh, you missed the porn. This. Okay. Yeah, you did miss fun. So this is my stepmother's dog. And I took this picture. Nola was actually in the back end of my car. We had a fire at their house the last time I did daddy daycare. And so I took a picture of Nola, and then I took that and took it into Canva and took the background out of it. And then I put it on a sublimation. Basically, the shape here is a blank for an iPhone case. So, so to get the porn part of this, you have to go back to the beginning of this video. Yes, that was an accidental issue today. Oh well. All right, guys. Are there any other questions for me? One more suggestion. Helpful Software Solutions. HSS. Kind of sounds like a shopping network, though, when you just do I like it, but would we get confused with HSN? Don't know. I think I'm settling on, what was that? What did we decide? Cindy Software Chat. CSS, Cindy Software Solutions. No, I like chat better because we do talk. Okay, guys. If you have no other questions for me, then I am going to sign off for the day. Unless something else. Yes, applique settings one more time. Yes, I certainly can, Jackie. Hold on a sec. P Design 11. Sandy, you can learn about sublimation printer on Brother Sew's. A lot will be there, but I did quite a bit on it this morning on the Brother Sew's Live. Okay, applique again. And let's pick us a font because I changed my font to script. Oops, wrong one. And let's make it bigger. And the other thing, kerning, increase that kerning. So spread them apart. I'll show y'all a trick that I like to do with appliques while we're in here doing this. Now let me put it in the middle. Okay, let's go to our home tab, applique wizard. All right, covering stitch. You pick your width. I don't go under 2.5 millimeters. It will not catch your applique. I usually go somewhere between 3 and 5. That's usually what I do. Create an applique with hole sewing if it has open areas in the center. You shouldn't see that unless it has that. And you want to say replace, not add. And then touch OK. And there's your applique. Now, if y'all want to have a lot of fun with this, let's go ahead and color sort it. This is the piece that you'd want to cut. So if you're sending it to your, is that the one I want to cut? No. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's look. Let's zoom in. and turn it into stitch mode. Oh, somebody wanted to know why did that go down the middle? That's interesting. Usually that goes further to the edge. All right, let me look at the A. All right, so the first piece is the one that you want to send to your scan and cut machine. So you select it, go scan and cut, export, take the spacing all the way down to 0 and take that check mark off. And then you can save it as an FCM file or you can send it to Canvas Workspace. If you send it to Canvas Workspace, it's going to make me log in. If you send it to Canvas Workspace, it will then ask you, do you want to send it to your machine? And I always say yes. So that way I don't have to do anything else besides just go to my machine. So it's been sent to my scan and cut and it's ready to work. So I can close and go on about my business. I should not have to resize the applique. Now, if you want to have some fun with this, if you take your second piece and you select it, and you go and you turn on, oh, wait a minute, hold on. I don't want to hide objects not stitched. So let's look here. We only want the outsides. So I want to grab these pieces. Oops. And that one. And we want to select them and then change that to a motif stitch. Okay, actually, let's pick all parts of that and turn it into a motif. Undo. Then we can set hole sewing. All right, and then you can pick the motif that you want for all of them. And this is from one of my spring collection. Wow, that's weird. Oh, spacing. I'm like, wait a minute, what did I do? So my spacing was off on that one. Okay, but we have spaces that need to have the holes cut out of them. All right. So our centers need to be, hole sewing needs to be set. So what we're going to do is go here, hold the control key down and grab the A and the center of the A, select them, go to the home tab, modify overlap, set hole sewing. Why didn't that work? Oh, you do have to ungroup it. Now I can do it. We want to do the A, hold the control key down, select it, go to the home tab, modify overlap, set hole sewing. Why is it saying invalid pair? All right, well, let's turn this into just a fill stitch. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's already got a hole. All right, so we just have to turn those off. Because we did create an applique with hole sewing. Now, there we go, motif. Then you put that in the order that you want it to be, and you would want it to be before the covering stitch. But you can add a lot of texture like that. And if we don't like the motif that we selected, we could always come in and pick a different one or make it smaller. It's kind of like making your own fabric. Let's see what else we've got in this collection. Let's change our spacing. There we go. So it just gives you some texture. All right, let me turn that off and come back over here. I use Canva for different things. I have not played with the Creative Fabrica Studio. That is on my list of things to do. I love the artwork that I get off of Creative Fabrica. I think it's a great place. I have not played a lot with their studio yet, and that is on my list of things to do. I just haven't had time. Well, I wouldn't suggest sitting down and reading from beginning to end, but I would suggest going through the lessons. And they are in an order, they are in the order that I would teach you them. Because the first things you want to do are how to bring in an embroidery design and how to add text to it, how to combine designs. And it really does go in that kind of sequential order. It teaches you how to use all of your text tools. So it would be the way I would, if I were teaching you, it's the way I would teach you. I would teach you how to know how to manipulate your text 6 ways to Sunday. And then we would start adding to that. So that's the way that I would do it. And Sheila, you're most welcome. All right, guys. If there are no other questions, if I haven't forgotten anybody's, I am going to say goodbye. And I'm sure we will be doing more with sublimation. And Donna, I plan on doing one in the Education Connection. I just have to come up with a project for it. And right now, my mind is on. I'm teaching in where am I teaching next week? In Northeast Pennsylvania. I'm teaching a class at Super Stitch. Actually, teaching a couple of classes at Super Stitch. So I'm focused on that. Trying to get those instructions finalized, and so that's what I'm kind of working on. All right, guys, you all have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week, and hopefully I'll see you next Tuesday if nothing gets in the way. When you try to I'm guessing the SVG may be too complex. I sent you my suggestion. If you have the ability to take that SVG into another program and save it as an SVG 1.0, that would be that would be a good option. Some are just it may just be too complex, too layered. It depends on the SVG. Not all are created equal. See if you can take it into Canvas Workspace and save it out as an FCM file and see if that helps. That's always an option, because although I do like the SVG digitizing function in PE Design, but you just never know. So I would try that. Not all SVGs are created equally, so it depends on that layering and how they saved it. I honestly couldn't tell you unless I saw the SVG. If you send me a link to it, I'm a member, so I have a subscription. So if you send me a link to it, I can go download it and see what's going on, see if I can figure it out. But it will not be in probably until for another couple of weeks, because I have 2 back-to-back weeks of travel. So I'll be doing good to get here on a Tuesday. All right, guys. You all have a great rest of your week. I'm so glad you enjoyed the laughs. I've enjoyed the laughs. I can get you some links to some sublimation things. So I definitely have, I buy a lot of stuff from Amazon. That's where I've been playing. So I definitely have an Amazon Associates account. I can put some of those in the Education Connection group. So, so I guess we're officially branded. Next week we will be Cindy's Software Chat. So I'll try to remember that when I set it up. Maybe I'll go set it up tomorrow before I forget what we are. And it will be Cindy's Software Chat number 1 or episode 1, because that way maybe we can keep up with where we're at on this. All right, guys, y'all have a great rest of your week. As I said before, it was great talking to you today. Glad we could share a few laughs. I still can't believe that looks so bad. All right. I will be thinking about that one all day. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.